Hey, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thanks very much for coming today for our usual press conference before a match, but obviously very tragic events at the weekend put a slightly different tone on the events and on today. First of all, I'd like to just say on behalf of Brighton Hove Albion Football Club that we extend our sympathy and condolences to all of the families of the victims of the Shoreham Air disaster on Saturday. Obviously, we were very, very sad to learn that we'd lost one of our own staff, Matt Grimstone, and also another young lad who Matt was travelling with, Jacob Schilt, who was someone known to us as a fan of the club and also a young footballer that had played in our charity side. So we were devastated anyway, and even more devastated when we learned that we lost those two young men, 23 years of age, both of them, and their whole lives ahead of them. So we've all been very, very badly affected by that, as you can imagine. We've also been the centre for the emergency services over this past weekend. We offered the emergency services the opportunity to use our facility here as a base for their operations, given the proximity to the crash site. And so we've had many officers here over the weekend using the facilities, and we've been delighted to play a small part in helping them to do their jobs. And again, on behalf of the club, just to say what a fantastic job they have done. And we've seen how they've come back from the crash site as distressed as any of us, but also incredibly professional in the way that they've handled what they've had to do in very, very difficult circumstances. So we would pay tribute to them and thank them for what they've done over the last 24, 48 hours.
Chris, have you anything you'd like to add?
Well, I can certainly only reiterate all that Paul has said. If I look at my period of time at the club here since January, then I've been very aware and very conscious what a close-knit community we have here, and a professional outfit that we've had here, and that I've managed to see very much at first hand over the last couple of days. And I think probably on behalf of myself, my staff and the players, I think Paul very much speaks about the whole of the club and the local community, but certainly on behalf of the players. And of course we in particular knew Matt very well, some more than others, and our condolences go out certainly to his family, but also, of course, for all of those that have been involved in this tragic accident.
Got a lot of young players here. How are you helping them to cope with what is obviously a very difficult time at the moment?
Well, we've got a lot of specialist staff here on the medical side already. We've also asked two professional counsellors to be available to all of our staff, not just the players, but also the ground staff and the staff that are based at the stadium as well. As you know, the accident happened at about 1:20 on Saturday. Just as many fans were arriving at the stadium, many of our staff were already at the stadium, and so news was filtering through while they were at work, but we still had to stage an event for over 20,000 people, so we needed them to remain focused and professional, which they did. And obviously many of them were worried because family and friends were at the air show or travelling to the air show or travelling to the stadium. So, at times like that, putting on a major public event for 20,000 people is a big deal, and we needed them to be professional, and they were. So obviously as the events unfolded, some of them, became increasingly concerned about family and friends, and therefore I think it's important today that we've offered them the chance to receive any trauma counselling that they feel they may need. And obviously people deal with these things in different ways, but the most important thing is that there are people there that can help them if they need it, and hopefully help them to deal with some of the feelings that they're going through.
What can you tell us about both of the guys' characters? Obviously I know you knew Matt a little bit more, but about both of their characters.
Well, Matt had been with us since he was 16 years of age, and he first started working for us at the Withdean Stadium, which was the old athletic stadium that we used to work at. And everyone remembers him as a very happy, very kind, very considerate young man, someone who was very popular with all of his colleagues here, always having a smile on his face, getting involved as groundsmen do in practical jokes from time to time, but also being a talented young footballer himself, goalkeeper, and obviously Chris is better qualified than me to talk about that, but he loved his football and he was a qualified referee, got involved in coaching, he was well known in the local football community, as were his family, and it's just a tragic loss. And similarly, Jacob didn't work for us, but he played for our charity team just as recently as April. Another fine young man who I had the privilege on 5 occasions to coach here while we were preparing for that game, and again, enthusiastic, talented, quick-witted, decent, kind young man, and again, a terrible loss, obviously for his family, but also for his friends and for the community as a whole.
Have you been in touch with their families?
I visited Matt's family last night, and that was obviously a very difficult meeting, but the family are incredibly dignified and incredibly thankful, I think, for the time that they had with Matt, but also obviously devastated at losing someone so young. And as you can imagine, they've got a very difficult few days, weeks, months, years ahead of them, and we wish them all the best.
Well, with there being not being a game at the Amex now until September the 12th, will there be a period of silence before the game tomorrow?
Yes, we've asked the Football League if they would sanction a minute's silence, and for our players to wear black armbands, which they have, and I believe they're also considering a nationwide minute's silence at games this week, and that's something which obviously we're very grateful for. If that happens, I think it's a fantastic mark of respect. We intend to dedicate our next home game, the Hull City game, to Matt and to Jacob, but to all the victims of the disaster over the weekend, and that's something which we'll talk more about nearer the time. I think the most important thing at the moment is the emergency services finish their work, and obviously we respect what they're doing.
How long have you made the facilities available to the emergency services?
Literally from the first minutes after the disaster happened. We're geographically and logistically obviously in a perfect location for where the crash site is. We have a fantastic relationship with Sussex Police and all the emergency services as a football club, and obviously we were working very closely with them, as we do on every match day, as the news came through to our control room of what was happening. So we offered the use of the facility, and our chefs have worked all over the weekend to feed people and to make sure that they're properly hydrated, but also to give them a place for rest and also some quiet time. I think sometimes people forget that the emergency services need that as well, and we've seen it here this weekend firsthand how they've needed a bit of time to gather their own thoughts, and this facility is perfect for that, because we've got a lot of places where they can rest and get some time.
Just wondering if you can share some of your memories of working with Matt and what the general feeling in the team is, how you're all supporting each other at this difficult time.
No, it's really difficult for everyone connected with the club to have a tragedy on my doorstep like this. Matt's worked here for a long time, and he's part of the team here, and our condolences go to his family as well as the other families that have been affected in this. And as I say, we're shocked as a club, and we wish them all the best, and hopefully they get through this difficult time.